Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We can't both say that men have all the competence in the world to be leaders and to be power holders and also say that they're so incompetent that they don't know when it's time to keep their hands to themselves. You can't have it both ways.
Today is International Women's Day, but many women may be surprised to learn a law against groping has one specific exclusion in the state of Minnesota. The 1988 law that made groping illegal still allows, quote, the intentional touching of the clothing area covering the immediate area of the buttocks, end quote. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz explains how new legislation is trying to change that.
Cassidy Ronning, a student in Moorhead, says she's been groped by a stranger before.
We were just at a party and it happened.
She didn't report it.
I guess I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but also nothing would be done about it.
And that's why she says she's not surprised. According to the Minnesota statute that defines criminal sexual conduct in the 5th degree, a certain area is excluded.
Grabbing the groin, the genitals, the breast has already been a crime. Instead of saying, but touching the clothing-covered buttocks is not a crime, we're saying it should be a crime.
Minnesota Senator John Marty co-authored the law 30 years ago.
It was a huge progress. It was the first time we were saying groping is illegal.
He says he was a co-author, but not a lead role, and didn't help write the exclusion.
Oh, boys will be boys. That was the old attitude. So it's a long time after we should be cleaning these things up.
I've always wondered why more men weren't offended by the phrase boys will be boys, as if men are such animals that they have no ability to control themselves. If I were a man, I'd be rather offended by that.
But now we know better.
This time, Senator Marty is heading the legislation to fix the omission and says he's optimistic.
The Me Too movement is changing attitudes and people are listening to what women are experiencing.
It should change. It shouldn't be a norm.
And women like Cassidy, who've been assaulted, say it's about time. In Moorhead, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
So far, legislation to get rid of the exception passed in the Senate Judiciary Committee. It's on the Senate floor now and still has to pass in the House before it goes on to the governor. Gray and cool out there today. We haven't had a lot to worry about. Can we say the same for tonight? Let's go over to Hutch to find out.
Andrea, most of us will have a very quiet evening of weather, but cool. As promised, we didn't get much in the way of wind today, and that's made it a little bit more pleasant as we continue along this very gradual improvement track weather-wise. Satellite radar showing a few clouds, a few flakes, mainly across western Minnesota. For tonight, there's some clearing taking place out to the west. As you can see on the Skycam, our deck of clouds starting to break up. So some decrease in clouds in our western counties, and that's going to come at a loss of temperature tonight. Single digits on the way towards bedtime. Wind remains light and variable in direction. Grand Forks, you can see clouds a little longer there, and that means you won't cool off quite as quickly, but still a chilly 10 degrees by this evening. We have a few flakes in the forecast as we go through the upcoming week and a half of weather, but we also have some milder temperatures to talk about. We'll do just that coming up in a few moments.
Okay, thank you, Hutch. A woman who allegedly tried to shoot a Minnesota trooper has been officially charged with attempted murder. 30-year-old Melody Gray of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is facing numerous charges, including felon in possession of a firearm. The Clay County Attorney's Office filed the charges today and says Gray is still recovering at Essentia Hospital in Fargo from a gunshot wound. The incident happened Monday when Trooper Mark Peterson responded to a one-vehicle crash on I-94 just east of Moorhead. According to court documents, at one point, Gray tried firing a handgun at Peterson's head. Peterson then shot Gray, who then ran into a nearby field where she collapsed before being apprehended. The passenger in the vehicle, 29-year-old Dominique Creighton, also of Milwaukee, is also facing multiple charges, including damage to property and receiving stolen property. Trooper Mark Peterson was not hurt and is currently on standard paid leave. Developing this evening, one teen was taken into custody this morning by Grand Forks police after a call for disturbance at a Central High School. According to a report from inews.tv, the call came in this morning around 10 from school security that a combative student was causing a disturbance in the entryway. No one was hurt, and the student was taken into custody without incident. inews.tv also reports no weapons were found. The student is being charged with terrorizing. A 51-year-old man is still in police custody following a police chase. Police say last night they tried to stop 51-year-old Dana Decotu in connection with a domestic disturbance after spotting him near UND. Reportedly, Decotu tried to get away in his pickup, but officers used a vehicle maneuver to stop him and stop his car. He was arrested for fleeing police, a DUI, and driving under suspension. New developments this evening as police are now releasing the name of the woman found dead on a snowmobile trail just south of town in East Grand Forks. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says the body of 26-year-old Brittany Rose from Grand Forks was found last Friday afternoon, and that the initial investigation did not reveal any suspicious activity. The body was taken to the University of North Dakota Forensic Medical Examiner's Office for an autopsy. Carrying signs and sporting red, supporters rallied at the Minnesota Capitol calling for an equal rights amendment to be added to the ballot in the November 2018 election. They believe making a permanent change to the state's constitution will ensure women are treated equally in all aspects of life. An amendment would ensure gender issues are treated in the same way that race and religion are in the eyes of the law. More than 20 other states have similar amendments in their own constitutions. People of all ages paid it forward this afternoon at Washington Elementary. 10 Concordia College students teamed up with 62 fourth graders for varying service learning projects. Dog toys for an animal rescue group, stuffed dolls for children experiencing trauma, recyclable T-shirt bags, and birthday cards for children and families who may not have the money to put food on the table to make their celebration special. All were handcrafted by the students to help give back to the community.
I'm hoping that as they grow older, that this will become something they want to do.
It's something so little, but it's making such a big impact on the people in the community and around us.
It makes you feel better about yourself that you helped somebody.
The students were taught that everyone has something to give and everyone has something they can learn. Plenty of parents have raised concerns, and now President Trump questions whether violent video games lead to violent behavior. That's still ahead tonight.